Everybody, and welcome back to another Nasdaq Spotlight. My name is Mish Matthews, and I am live right here at Nasdaq MarketSite. Today, we have a very special guest with us by the name of Jon Bakke, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at MariaDB. Now, today is actually a really great day as well because we are hosting Intel Capital's very first Ventures Day right here at MarketSite. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So how are you feeling today? How's it going?
Great, yeah, the weather could be better, but otherwise, yeah, it's great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to have you for this installment of Nasdaq Spotlight. How about we go ahead and just jump right in? Would you mind telling us and our viewers at home what MariaDB is?
What is it? Well,
what is it?
I love MariaDB. MariaDB is a great database company. It's a global company. We're based on an open source technology, which means the source code is put into the open for other developers to use, and that seems to be the business model that's thriving both in Silicon Valley and in industry right now. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Reduces costs to the end user, which makes for a very marketable and interesting product. So we're global, not a huge company, but because of technology today, we can scale the globe and easily execute the business.
So there's three main solutions, right? It's for SaaS, it's for cloud, and on-premise applications,
Yeah,
correct?
I mean, that basically covers a lot of where you'll see MariaDB show up. It's ubiquitous across the industry.
Mm-hmm. So what's kind of driving MariaDB's adoption today?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things. First of all, it's a very easy database to get started with, and so developers love it. And a lot of places, the developer builds solutions, they bring it up through executive management, it gets put into production. So having a database solution that makes it easy for developers to use is super important. MariaDB, the source code has actually been around for 25 years. It's one of the most popular databases in the world, and if you download a Linux, which is an operating system, a Linux distribution, it's very likely to be in that distribution.
So tell me a little bit about your customers. Can you list companies like ServiceNow, Home Depot, Verizon, Walgreens, DBS Bank as customers, right?
Yep.
So tell me about how they use MariaDB.
Oh yeah, so even Nasdaq is a customer. We have customers across the entire Global 2000, but Verizon, for example, they use MariaDB in many different ways. They use it in their retail business lines, they use it in their network business lines, so they're running a cell phone call, you're using MariaDB, right? Home Depot, they store data about their supply chain in MariaDB. When I look at a company like ServiceNow, that's one of our largest customers, they run their entire business on MariaDB. 85,000 plus databases are running on MariaDB every day, running 25 billion queries per hour. And you know, ServiceNow is a great success story, $41 billion company, one of our closest, most strategic customers. Right? DBS Bank is an interesting customer. They're based in Singapore. It's the development bank of Singapore, one of the largest banking companies in Southeast Asia. They went through a period where they decided they were going to get off legacy databases like Oracle that are really expensive, and they've migrated over 100 different mission critical databases over to MariaDB, and so they're literally running their entire bank on MariaDB.
That's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
Is there a specific customer success story that you find particularly interesting?
Well, I like that one, the DBS story, the most, just because it saves them so much money. They save millions of dollars per database when they do that. The cost of buying it and operating it is so much lower, and that's pretty common across all of our customers. The reason they choose MariaDB is because they're tired of paying those prices from the 1990s and 2000s where, you know, they would sink millions of dollars into one single database just to run an operation.
It's too much.
It's too much, yeah.
And is there a particular industry that MariaDB kind of targets?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a wide range.
Yeah, it's hard to target specific industries when you're a smaller company. Some try. What's great for us, though, is that there isn't any particular industry that MariaDB lends itself to, which is sort of another way of saying it's great for all industry, right? Relational databases have been used by financial services, telecommunications, public sector, you know, just about any major vertical industry you can think of. They're using relational databases to run their business, to store data that's important to them over the long term. And so it's a natural progression for them to then use MariaDB instead of the larger, older incumbents.
So we're in 2019, brand new year. We're just, well, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
We're in February.
Right.
But what are kind of the new initiatives that MariaDB plans to take, and what can we expect this year?
Yeah. So lots of things. We've recently bought technology. We're really trying to separate ourselves from the rest of the open source database pack. But in doing so, we're really starting to compete more aggressively with the larger players like Oracle and Microsoft. And we find ourselves now looking at the cloud and adoption in the cloud, places like Amazon, Alibaba, Microsoft Azure, where the battle will be taken, right? So database as a service and cloud-based data management, that's really the next frontier. The battle's already raging there, and we're innovating and building technology to be very competitive.
Arms up.
Arms up, yeah.
What about in the next 5 years?
Oh, yeah.
Gotta ask that follow-up question.
Yeah, I mean, so we'd like to be back here, of course, but we're really just trying to build a very successful company, right? And so that starts with innovation and great technology, building a database that works for customers wherever they need it. Flexibility and portability is really a key attribute to databases today, right? Which is really what's holding back the legacy of data management over the last 40 or so years, right? So we have an advantage in that we have so many users using the database already in all of those environments. We can build technology that aligns with how it's being used today so that we can meet the needs of tomorrow. Yeah.
So spinning it back over to a couple of new events that are happening right now.
Yep.
I know that MariaDB OpenWorks, that the conference is actually happening very soon.
It is, yep.
Would love to hear a little bit about
Okay.
what that's
So
all about.
OpenWorks is great. It is the annual user event.
Okay.
Several hundreds of people, probably close to 1,000 this year, will register. And the event is here in New York City. It's in 2 weeks at the Conrad Hotel, which is downtown. And we'll have speakers from all over the world, guests from all over the world, some of our top customers speaking about how MariaDB solves their business problems and also meets some technology needs that they're obviously gearing towards as they build their IT infrastructure. So it's a great event, great city, great place to have it, and people come from all over the world to sync up.
Where can people buy tickets?
The marketing team isn't here to tell me what to say, but so if you go to MariaDB.com,
You can find
you'll find the registration page, right?
Perfect. Now, when I did kind of do a little bit of research, I found that MariaDB actually has a new release called MariaDB Platform X3.
X3, right.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that means? Why, and what are you most excited about to see in this evolution?
Oh, there's a lot of things that are great in X3. The key to X3 is that the platform is really an enterprise enabler, right? There's technology built into the platform that companies need for scaling out, for security, for information assurance that makes a database relevant to a Global 2000, Fortune 500 type company, right? They're not going to run open source technology in their operations without support. And in order to support the database, we need to have these enterprise features that are built in that separates us even further from our competition. But it does other things. It catches us up to companies like Oracle. We can in X3 we can do transactional and analytical queries in the same open source database. Never done before. So this is revolutionary. Allows companies to store data transactionally, but then go back later and do really difficult analytics against an open source database. So the price performance on that is tremendous, right? I mean, the innovation that's gone into X3 by far and away a leap forward for open source database, and catches us up very quickly to the older incumbent players.
The bigger players,
yeah.
yeah. So excited to hear about that. I can't wait to hear what folks are going to be using it for.
Oh God, yeah. Who knows? I mean, it's a ubiquitous spectrum. Yep.
Yeah. Well, on a less serious note, would love to kind of hit you with a lightning round.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Number one, what is your favorite piece of tech?
It's got to be my phone because it rarely leaves my side and it's almost always in my hand, as my loved ones would clearly attest to. But for me, consumer technology, the iPhone for me has got to be the number one. Yeah.
Favorite app?
Favorite app? So if I take all my work things out of it, because I don't think you're asking that, it's got to be Spotify for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Spotify, and I suppose Apple Music or others, but for me it's Spotify, simply because for so long, I've collected music and to the thousands of records, and now, strangely, I don't need any of those anymore. I can bring it anywhere I want and listen. So,
If you're not in the office, where can we find you?
let's see. I'm probably at the gym or on the road. This job particularly has me traveling quite a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Every once in
Seeing
a while.
customers, so outside of work, 4 kids, dog, spouse, and life is pretty normal there, but the travel really, it's exciting because I can see a lot of customers, learn a lot about what they're doing so that we can feed that information back into the product and make it better.
Last one, I promise.
Okay.
What is one piece of advice that has stayed with you throughout your entire career?
Oh, what goes around comes around. And I think it really is, we see people at this event that we've known for decades in this industry, right? So for me, personal integrity, treating people that you work with and for in a way that you would want to be treated, because you just never know who's going to be your boss next, who your partners are going to be. And people have long memories. So, if you're a young person getting into this business, that's the one piece of advice I would give you.
Well, John, that was great advice. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And thank you, followers, for watching this episode of NASDAQ Spotlight. My name is Mish Matthews, and I am signing off right here from NASDAQ.